Slop content. If you guys have never heard of this kind of content, essentially it's when a YouTuber hops on a trend and for 10 minutes straight applies a viciously circular logic to make it seem like he's actually contributing to the discussion. And recently there was a slop content creator by the name of a Cheeto, not Hot Cheeto, a Cheeto, who ended up exposing himself. And I'm not talking about that he pulled his pants down and then let the elephant trunk just flop around. I'm talking about he exposed himself as to why he creates this content. Now, allow me to provide a little bit of context. Now, there's this YouTuber by the name of Lurix. Now, Lurix cares a lot about YouTubers spreading certain information, especially misinformation to audiences. And of course I care as well, which is why I'm making this video. But Lurix ends up putting a Cheeto, who is the slop content creator, on the spot because there's a certain video that he has about Sniper Wolf and it's full of misinformation. Now the misinformation is that Sniper Wolf copyright striked a certain YouTuber. But it turned out that that wasn't the case at all. Instead, it was a person who was impersonating Sniper Wolf, and the impersonator was the one that struck the YouTuber.
With Moist saying that he was able to look at all the information that One Giant Onion received about the strike, right? And from what he saw, it looked like it came from someone pretending to work for an agency that claimed to represent Sniper Wolf.
However, he was reluctant to take down this video even though it was misinformation. And you can see that Lurix ends up putting him on the spot and asking him, why don't you want to take the video down?
Yeah, it's wrong. Then that information is incorrect.
Yeah, that's all. Well, it wasn't really a big deal, but like you probably want to take that down, right? Like Sense of Society made a video, Poncho made a video, they took him down when they definitively said it, even though there wasn't enough information. That's all, you know?
I'm not gonna take the video down, but you know,
You're not?
I think if any, I mean, I can just add like a pinned comment, I guess, updating it.
So you just heard Cheeto right now say that he doesn't want to take the video down. Instead, he wants to add a pinned comment notifying the viewers that this video is incorrect. If you're asking why does he want to take the video down, he'll provide the answer now.
Why wouldn't you take the video down? If you said like definitively Sniper Wolf said that she striked that on that One Giant Onion guy, why wouldn't you take the video down?
Well, I'm pretty sure that when you delete a video, it counts as like negative views on your channel. Like on Social Blade, it'll say like minus views.
Well, like
I don't know
like
if that
unlisted,
fucks you in
right?
the algorithm or not.
Well, I mean, like, I
So-
feel like even if, you know, you could unlist it, but even I think like priorities probably take like they're probably more important if you're like definitively like, you know, kind of slandering someone.
So allow me to clarify what a Cheeto is saying here. Essentially, he's saying that he doesn't want to take the video down because then it's going to count as negative views and it's going to affect how he's presented in the algorithm. Now, this occurred 4 months ago. As you guys can see here, I'm pointing to where the video would have been, but because of backlash, he had to take the video down. Now, it's a totally reasonable conclusion to arrive at because obviously I'm sure that his YouTube pays for his bills and he's probably thinking, you know, my bills are going to be affected. I'm not going to be able to pay on time, whatever the case is, which is why I'm thinking this is more or less a fight or flight response. Now, initially I was thinking to myself, like, you know what? I think we should just take it easy on him. But then Lurix, he ended up making a good argument on his previous video that was released about like 2 or 3 days ago, or maybe even 10 days ago. I want you to take a listen to what he had to say about people who create misinformation.
The ability to cover complex and serious allegations because that's what gets the most views, but erasing the nuance that is necessary to cover these stories, cutting corners in the creation and research process in order to get their video out sooner. And especially when you attack a target that is already disliked, they rationalize just throwing out a video saying definitively that they're guilty of doing something because, well, this person probably did this, and even if they didn't, well, they're already a piece of shit, so who really cares? And the reason why they do this is because in most cases, it works. There's no consequences for their actions of spreading misinformation because the average casual YouTube drama viewer doesn't really care either.
And I really started sitting there and thinking like, yeah, you know what, man? A lot of these guys, they really don't face repercussion for like the misinformation they spread, you know? Because if you take a look at Pegasus, who ended up making about like 13 videos on Mr. Beast, yo, he for sure racked up at least 100 grand from all of that. And with no consequence, he's going to walk away with all of that to the bank while all of these other people have like, you know, this anger and hatred towards Mr. Beast. And don't get me wrong, most YouTubers spread misinformation, which if you guys don't know, misinformation is the accidental spreading of information that is incorrect. For someone to have the intention of spreading misinformation, then that's no longer misinformation. That's called disinformation. This video from a Cheeto was definitely disinformation because he was fully aware that the information in this video was incorrect. However, my problem with these slop YouTubers is the fact that a lot of them do not know how to take a neutral stance. A lot of them don't know how to say, I don't know. And most importantly, a lot of them appeal to emotion. And appeal to emotion usually occurs when a speaker or even a personality tries to convince a person by evoking strong feelings and emotions rather than providing evidence. Oftentimes when a speaker appeals to the viewer's emotions, the viewer expresses anger, frustration, hopelessness. I'm sure you've heard the sentiment online where some viewers will say something along the lines of, you know, there's never anything positive online, there's never a positive story. And then there'll be some people that justify that and say, well, people don't care about happy stories, they care about the negative stories. But the reality is, at least in my opinion, people have been conditioned to get angry, to get frustrated, to become hopeless. So when Lorik says at the end of that clip that people just don't care,
there's no consequences for their actions of spreading misinformation because the average casual YouTube drama viewer doesn't really care either.
I wouldn't just confine this to a casual drama viewer. This actually applies to many communities. It can apply to the political community, the conspiracy theorist community, the academic community. I mean, you name it. I would expand it and say people. People don't care because they have not been conditioned to care. Instead, they've been conditioned to experience frustration, anger, and hopelessness. Now, I could sit here and excoriate or even lambast a Cheeto, but that's going to be very unproductive because this issue is so much larger than just lambasting one content creator. All I have to say is just, you know, I believe in second chances. I think that a Cheeto should learn from this definitely and just move forward, you know. Understand that you should protect your reputation. And guess what? Even a Cheeto knows this.
But when we're talking about people's lives and their reputations as not only creators on the internet, but as human beings that are seen by hundreds of thousands of people, you should be expected to verify things that your friend is saying. Maybe you should have looked at all the facts before making a video. Maybe you should have heard multiple perspectives. I just laid out the story. I let people draw their own conclusion. That's what you have to do with allegations, because unless you're 100% sure of something, it's kind of just whether or not you're going to get lucky or not. If you're going to say a guy's 100% innocent or 100% guilty, it could look really bad when it doesn't go that way.
So he's completely aware of this principle. So now moving forward, I want to see him apply this principle. Because when content creators spread misinformation or rally up people's emotions or abstain from grayscale thinking, these content creators make it so much harder for people who do care about the situation to get the word out there. And I'll even provide one of my own examples. I used to watch Neon all the time, and I would love to talk about him. But people always had the impression that he was just an absolutely terrible kid. And one of the reasons why is because content creators such as Moist Critical would not only lambast, but also excoriate content creators such as Neon for actions that were somewhat out of his control. A good example of this is when Neon got into a car crash with another content creator or a felon named Squeeze. All right, these guys hopped in a car and Squeeze was going incredibly fast, and somewhere during the stream they ended up getting into a car crash. Moist Critical covered that story, and instead of covering it in a neutral stance, instead he just lambasted Neon, called him loser multiple times, and completely spun the story out of control.
Now, granted, he wasn't the one driving, so I don't think he'd face any serious repercussions, though I imagine maybe they could come after him for setting this up, because this was clearly the idea behind the stream, is get together with the most dangerous driver and do some dangerous driving for Neon's stream to entertain his audience.
No, that is not what happened. Of course, Moist Critical would want to paint this picture because he doesn't like Neon. You can watch the video yourself. He's completely biased against them. That is not what happened. What actually happened was that Neon continuously negotiated with Squeeze's manager, talking about that he doesn't want to do anything crazy. Please don't do anything crazy. We'll go for a ride, but don't do anything crazy because I'll get banned. I'm going to go ahead and play the video from 6 months ago so you can see how is it that I delivered it. And if you watch that entire stream, you can see that Neon was protesting the idea of doing anything crazy with Squeeze.
All right, please, bro. I don't want to do any crazy shit. I just want to drive with you. We gotta go?
Let's
Okay,
go,
I'm sorry.
yeah, because we've been here for a minute. Crazy. So it's like you don't have anything to actually be scared of, you know? If you told us, yo, let's bug the fuck out and go viral, then I would be scared too, but we're really just gonna go on a cruise.
And even when Neon did hop in the car, he was constantly just telling Squeeze, like, listen, man, I really don't want to do anything crazy, man. Please don't do anything crazy.
Can you tell me to actually not go fast? Like, just chill shit.
Yo, Neon, listen. If you had enough, then we have enough, then we'll pull over and we'll stop right there, bro.
Okay, just please chill shit, bro. I'm gonna get banned if he goes fast.
You shook your hand, bro. We're on the same page, bro. Nothing's gonna happen, bro. We're all boys, and once again, we're trying to develop a relationship.
Okay.
You know, I want to meet you again and show it you
Okay,
again. You know?
all right. Thank you, bro.
You already know how it went. Yep. They ended up testing out the effectiveness of their seatbelts in the most dramatic fashion possible. So when I decided to come out and correct the narrative, I ended up getting massively disliked. And not only did I get massively disliked, but I also got flamed in the comment section. So for instance, we have some of these comments that read, you know, saying neon isn't attention, clout hungry is like saying water isn't wet. Yeah, Charlie isn't in the wrong here. Yeah, so hilarious mocking the Asian guy. Not everybody needs to be a YouTuber. Gotta be the worst take ever. Don't call someone wrong with your 800 subs, lol. And this is the consequence of people who spread misinformation. The people who actually know about the topic and want to discuss it, they can't, because first they have to get through the layer of misinformation, and then after that they get massively disliked when they point out the context. And that is not healthy for the mentality of a YouTuber, because that day when I saw all of those hate comments, it really made me lose it, man. Like, it made me want to go live and at every single one of those accounts so they can come on the stream and we can debate. I was just full of vengeance because I already knew that I had the facts and they didn't. I had all the psychological concepts, they didn't. I knew psychological theories that they didn't. So I already was prepared for this, you know. And even if I was wrong, I don't even think I would have cared. I would have just gone after them no matter what. But I'm glad that I decided against that, because ultimately that community, Charlie's community, they're not really interested in intellectual battles. So if anything, they would have just trolled me and I would have just came out a loser. And also, I was just so angry at everything because like almost every single video I was posting about a certain person that I like talking about was just getting massively disliked, because again, it was just all bias and misinformation. And if you pointed out the context, they would immediately just flame you in the comments. So I was just tired of that. But nonetheless, yeah, the only thing that I'm going to say is I want to give a Cheeto a second chance. And it's just encourage improvement. That's what I would suggest. But nonetheless, every content creator has their own principles that they like to abide by. So by all means, feel free to disagree with me if you want. So yeah, anyways, I want to go ahead and leave it here. That's all I have for you guys. And yeah, hopefully you guys learned something today.